Hello, and welcome to MrDudeManSir. And today, I am streaming some more Everlasting Summer, and I'm going after Lena's route right now. While going on Lena's route, during some sort of point on day 4, around episode 10 or 11 or so, I went to the bus stop, and I found Miku there, which didn't happen in my Let's Play, so I, sped backwards in time to this point right here, and I'm going to start narrating it and stuff. So maybe it's important, maybe it's not, but either way it's going to have some sort of character development or annoying Miku stuff happen. So, the bus stop seemed to be a fine choice. A strange thought came across me. Perhaps Shurik is in the same situation as me, and so he decided to run away from this camp, maybe by the 410 bus. It could really turn out to be true if he came here by accident, too. Although the chances of that are, quite slim and stuff. But you never know. What if the bus really would come? However, I could hardly believe in that. Indeed, I spent a couple of minutes waiting at the bus stop, made sure that there were no signs of Shurik or anyone else here, and headed back to the camp. But new stuff happened, and somebody rushed and bumped out from behind the gates into me directly. The impact was strong, and so I staggered. And it's Miku looking disgusted at me. Miku stood in front of me and rubbed a bruised forehead. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's alright, it's my fault. I was going to the music club and got lost in here by a new song. Thinking about lyrics and music, I had realized how I got here. So you don't have to apologize. Her words per minute rate obviously exceeded the recognition limits of my brain. I made an attempt to retreat promptly. Sure, I gotta go, Oh, wait, no, you can't leave. I wanted to leave as usual without having to listen to her, but Miku grabbed my hand. Her grasp gave me the creeps as I got a clear vision of the agonizing execution by another rapt assassin. Can you help me a little, please? Just a teeny weensy bit? That definitely wasn't on my to-do list today. Well, I'd be glad to, but it's... Pretty please? Miku looked at me with such a puppy dog eyes that my heart started to melt. She totally wasn't going to let go of my hand. And what help exactly do you need? You'll accompany me. I can't manage to compose on my own. I can sing or play or I can do anything at the same time. Even our virtuoso had her weaknesses. Well, I can't really play any instrument. Never mind that. I'll show you everything. Come on, let's go right now. Yeah, go! Of course I'm gonna go with you. Of course. It's not only because this is the only choice I can do to actually get the good end for you. It's because I want to, of course. On the other hand, I'm not losing anything. However, she dragged me along with her. Probably nothing good will come from this, but the only way to get her off of me is wrestle her hand out of hers. But that wouldn't be very nice at all. Nothing bad will happen after all. Probably. Hey, within a minute we're already standing in the music club. Miku took a guitar. Hey, have a look, right here. Oh, nice. She sat down and started playing. I tried to follow her hands. The tune seemed quite simple. It seemed quite easy to repeat it. I got it? Well, kind of. Let's try. I took the guitar and started playing. That didn't really work out. Let me show you one more time. She played much better than me. Looking at Miku, I wondered. Of course she was a chatterbox. She was naive and clumsy. However, she was extremely talented in music. Try again. I managed much better the second time. Wow, that's much better. She smiled. It wasn't hard. In fact, just repeat the same notes over and over. Just don't lose track. Start a mic command only. Okay, ready to go! It was a song in Japanese. Frankly speaking, I didn't understand a single word. I didn't understood? I didn't understand a single word. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is probably made using Miku's, program. It definitely sounds like it. Cool. Great. It was quite good, actually. In fact, it was quite outstanding. She put her heart in every note, every word. Yeah, music probably is the very thing for her to dedicate her life to. It seemed like it wasn't her who chose the music, but the music that chose her. The last half an hour presented Miku in a completely different light. Oh, thank you. Did you like it? I finally managed it with you. On my own, it's not so good. I either mess up the words or I miss the strings, and it's just perfect with you. Thank you so much! You really have talent, you know. Just play without any preparation. Nope, it seems like I changed my opinion on it too hastily. Thanks for the song. Whew, I gotta take a good deep breath after that long sentence. Gotta go, see you later. Thanks for, you know. I didn't even let her finish her sentence. I just left. The rest of her words were left behind the door. I leaned on the wall of the club room cabin inside. Miku's song was still playing in my mind. Apparently this choice right here is a big choice, even though it does not make any sense. Not eating this apple apparently brings me on Miku's route, so let's not eat it. No! Even assuming that's a normal apple, in any case, I shouldn't eat unwashed fruits. It's unsanitary. Just like that. I found a reason for a car driving by me, and fear, and put the apple away. It was time to go for dinner. I need to choose to go alone. The only other choice I've chosen is to go with Lena, but now it's time to go alone because I'm a loner. I'm gonna go search for Shirk alone. And I'm going there alone, huh? Old Dmitrievna looked thoughtful. Perhaps you're right. We'll go together tomorrow. Oh dear. Has it actually changed? Like, I don't even go there? Wow. I was not expecting that. I don't even go to the cabin tonight. I thought I would meet Miku there or something, but no. Well, that's weird. We stood in the silence for some time, and dispersed around the camp. Everybody seemingly forgot about Alyssa and her terrorist attack, maybe due to minor damage it caused. Together with the camp leader, I went towards the cabin. I tried to think of why Shirk would go to the old camp. He is interested in robots and cybernetics, not scary stories and ghosts. What does that boo have to do with it? That's it. What? What does that boo have to do with that it? What does the boo have to do with that it? What now? That doesn't even make any sense! Oh my gosh. What does the boo have to do with that it? I remember how I decided to wait until something extraordinary would happen. And then I realized, this is it. Look, Dmitrievna, I think I'll take a walk before bed. Just not a long one. Okay. I wouldn't dream of it. When I reached a square, I understood that hanging around in the forest or some other strange place may not be that scary. By doing so in the dark. I didn't want to return to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, but I had to find a flashlight. For instance, there was one in the infirmary. I was glad I didn't spend my whole time there reading my fashion magazine. I have an idea! I bet I'll meet Miku there eating her apple. Is that how it's gonna work? Probably. Hey, let's go. The dots, they transversing. Oh, no. I thought I was gonna go to the infirmary, but not yet. The flashlight was found quickly, and in a few minutes I was standing at the square pulling myself together. I just had to make a final decision before I entered the forest. Moving past the pioneers' cabins down the forest path towards the abandoned camp. I set forth. Electronic told me that the old building was built immediately after the war. It looked like a kindergartner, or like barracks I expected, and definitely could hold fewer pioneers than today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. Oh, like I'm going in some sort of, teal forest of amazingness. It was now totally dark, but except for some sort of super bright light. The forest looked totally different at night. Mysterious shadows were hiding behind the trees, strange rustlings and the cries of nightbirds coming from everywhere. Branches treacherously snapped under my feet. The full moon was shining, so I decided to save the battery in the flashlight. I'm sure I will need it sometime soon. The further I moved, the more unpleasant thoughts came into my head. I wasn't afraid of the dark at all. I didn't believe in ghosts or the mystical crap, but at the same time, during the last few days I'd encountered so many incomprehensible phenomena that against my own will I started to read between the lines of the simplest things. Obviously, I felt exceptionally uneasy in the forest at night. Everywhere I looked, every shadow, every tree or bush looked like some sort of weird creature, escaping straight from horror movies or from Stephen King novels. Wait, this is a Russian game and they made reference to Stephen King? Wow. A branch seemed under someone's hand. It seemed to be someone's hand, eager to grab my shoulder. A fallen log, someone's dead body, someone who failed to get out of the forest. In every gully I saw a bottomless abyss. If I found myself in this forest under any other circumstances, without all these buses and pioneer camps, of course I would still feel uncomfortable, but then I would be able to explain everything with logic and be afraid of nothing, except for owls and mice, of course. But at the moment, there were more than enough reasons to fear. Despite all this, I reached the old camp without any adventures. Great. It's time to go to some sort of corpse party thing now. A little grave, surrounded by trees, stood a house resembling a kindergarten. Paint peeled off the walls, almost all the windows were broken masonry here and there. Holes in the roof that looked like those made by bombing. In the front of the building was a little garden, surrounded by a rusty fence. Apparently, once it was a playground with a merry-go-round, swings, slides, and other Soviet attractions. But time is cruel. All of them are broken and mutilated by corrosion. The grass was so tall that it almost came up to my waist. Oh look, it just got brighter. The moon looked out from underneath the clouds and illuminated the old camp. It seemed like everything came back to life. Windows shone through the glass and walls looked like they'd been painted with fresh paint. I heard playful laughter, saw translucent children joyfully running and frolicking in the yard. That's creepy. A strict camp leader on the threshold, holding a basket of ripe apples in her hands. The old cleaning lady taking a nap in the shade. I sent chills down my spine. Of course, my imagination was just playing tricks, but the old camp itself was so similar to all the post-apocalyptic pictures I had seen that these visions were no surprise. I stood undecided for a long time before I dared to go further. After all, I'm here to find Shurik. Though I still don't get what I might be doing down here. If he even is here. A boot somewhere nearby doesn't mean anything. However, if he has not been eaten by wolves, if he was not, for some reason it seemed like there were no wolves in this forest. This must be the only place where he might be hiding. I carefully crossed into the yard, pushing the tall grass apart, avoiding all the Pokemon, and trying not to bump into a jagged piece of metal. But I stopped in the doorway, hesitating. An impenetrable heavy darkness stared back at me from inside. Even the bright moonlight could not illuminate any object, or even to highlight the silhouette. This is the time where you use your flashlight. My head was filled with different thoughts that all said that it's better for me not to go any further and run away like now and stuff. But I pulled myself together, turned on the flashlight, and stepped over the threshold. Inside the building looked like a typical kindergarten. I still remember my childhood days, and so everything here looked familiar. Sleeping room with lines of beds standing close to each other, a large playroom, toilets, a dining room, and utility rooms. Signs of the past children's joy were seen everywhere. From time to time the flashlight drew my attention to a decaying doll, or plastic toy car, or a punctured rubber ball, or a broken rank of tin soldiers. There was a book on the table faded with age. I flipped through the pages. It was a story I'd read a long time ago back in my childhood. Something about the war. Enemies destroyed the kindergarten and all its kids hid in a little basement together with a bunch of adults. All bombs were exploding on the surface. I don't remember the end of the story, but as far as I remember, nobody died. Looking at the illusions, all the emotions, fear, sadness, sympathy for the poor children, and the sense of hopelessness which I had experienced while reading the book came over me. It's strange that under exactly these conditions, right here and now, that I found this book. Probably there is somebody who manages the ongoing story, who writes the scenario for this absurd play, who sews costumes for the local pioneers and creates sets like this abandoned camp. To tell the truth, he is very talented. Attention is paid to even the most minor details. Although this place was abandoned a long time ago, everything here seemed to be untouched. Of course, time didn't spare this camp. In so many years it had been often visited by the locals. A perfect place for young people, just hitting puberty. They could drink alcohol, they just hit puberty, so it's time to drink alcohol. Like, that's not how it works. Indulge in amorous pleasures and simply burn... Okay, this is getting out of hand. Just burn everything down, just for fun. Electronic mentioned this place is full of legends of ghosts and devils living here. Take, for example, the story about the camp leader who committed suicide. In my world, nobody would believe it, that this could stop somebody. But in reality, anything is possible. Certainly the fear didn't disappear, but I decided that since I'd come here I was going to carry on to the bed. To the bed? To the end. Of course the end. Who wants to go to a bed now? There's no time to sleep. The building was small, so it wasn't difficult to search it completely. But I didn't find any sign of Shurek. Maybe I should just go call out to him. But on the other hand, maybe that's not such a good idea and stuff. Frustrated, I sat on the bench in the lobby and just sighed. Ghosts! Where are you? Can you come out, please? I asked the camp. The camp did not respond, and all of a sudden, I noticed a strange depression in the corner. A small trapdoor. An adult would barely be able to squeeze through it. And it seemed to me that it had already been recently opened as the dust cleared around it. And so there's a part where I need to be scared. So Shurek went somewhere. What might be lurking beneath the trapdoor? What might be lurking? Oh, a basement maybe. What would he be doing there? I pulled open the hatch and pointed the flashlight into the darkness. There was a ladder going down a couple of meters, ending in the concrete floor. There was a low, narrow corridor disappearing in the darkness. I hesitated for a long time. On one hand, I had absolutely no desire to go down there, but on the other hand, if Shurek really was there, I swore loudly and began to descend. Downstairs it was so dark that even the flashlight didn't help much. A low ceiling, wires extending along the walls, broken lamps clad in iron bars. I've seen it all somewhere. No, okay, that was nearly bad. I slowly started to move deeper into the dungeon. The path went down, and after a few dozen meters ended at a stairway with high steps. Oh hey look, I'm going to go into Fallout 3 now. Soon I found myself in front of a massive metal door. There was a sign painted on it. I looked closely and realized that it was a biohazard sign. No wonder, if the old camp was built after the war and it lasted into the 70s. So it's an ordinary bomb shelter and there's nothing to be afraid of. Unless there's ghosts in there, of course, then you should be scared. However, those thoughts made me even more scared. I made a decision and opened the door, which immediately shut with a sharp sound as soon as I stepped through the doorway. I shuddered strongly, my hands began to tremble and my vision dimmed. I regained consciousness after a few seconds, and only then did I realize that apparently a strong spring was attached to the door. Oh, wait, this is one of my dreams, wasn't it? Like before, in the future. It hasn't happened yet, but it did, in time, eventually. I found myself in quite a spacious room. In the beam of flashlight, I could see a bunk bed, some cabinets along the walls, and several devices of unknown purpose located in the far corner. It seems that this bomb shelter has never been used. Nobody ever came here. The beds were made, which is strange in itself. I carefully looked around the room several times. The cabinets were filled with gas masks, chemical protective suits, dry rations, various domestic odds and ends. Devices which at first I could determine the purpose of were gauges of radiation, air pressure, and temperature. In short, it was a typical bomb shelter. I'd never been in such a place before, but it was how I imagined it. The only thing that remained unexplored was a door at the other end of the room. I pulled the handle with all my might, but the door would not open whatsoever. If someone recently came down here, and he wasn't found in this room, then it would be logical to assume that he is behind this door. I called out in a whisper. Shurek? You there? No reply. Maybe he locked himself out. But why? It was unclear what I should do next. Perhaps it would be smarter to come back tomorrow with help, but for some reason I had a feeling that behind this door I would find answers that can't wait to be found. I walked across the room and took a crowbar from the corner. I wedged it under the bottom of the door and tried to rip it from its hinges. Oddly enough, after a while I did just that. Fortunately, it wasn't as massive as the previous door. Good job. You did it. The door gave out and slammed onto the floor. I took a deep breath and pointed the flashlight down at the passage. The corridor vanished in the darkness, the same as the one which brought me here. The walls were closing in. My head almost touched the ceiling, but I could not make out the end of the corridor. I walked carefully, looking at the ground. This is one reason I did not fall into the pit. Oh dear, there's a pit here. There's a hole about 1.5 meters in diameter, and there was earth at the bottom of it instead of concrete. It seems that hole was caused by an explosion. It wasn't too deep. I could easily climb out later. Hey look, I'm back to this point where I'm gonna make these, going to go in circles. After I jumped into the hole, I found myself in something that resembled an old mine. The walls and ceiling were reinforced with wooden beams. The tunnel was so long that my flashlight was insufficient. A few minutes later, I found myself at the crossroads. It's too dangerous to go any further. I could get lost. I decided that if it would make a good idea to somehow mark the place from which I could begin my journey to the labyrinth, so I picked up a stone and slashed it against the wall. So, I went further and further. It seems there is no end to these tunnels, like I'm trapped in the Minotaur's labyrinth, and the terrible creatures will appear soon. I was exhausted and slowly slid down to the ground, leaning against the mine's damp walls. Where's that dang shuriken? And how many hours have I been walking around here? My eyes began to close, just for a minute. Huh? What? It's already day ... What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh no. Because sometimes a dream is just a dream. One doesn't have to look up on the internet searching for an interpretation of a dream that invaded our dream world in such a rude manner. One doesn't have to assume that it's a sign, a prophecy, a prediction of the future. Sometimes a dream is just a dream. A beatful story. That if it's just going to happen in real life, a fairy tale sketched on your resting brain and painted into your imagination. Sometimes a dream is just a dream. Even if it comes in several parts. Huh? What? I don't understand. What in the world? Dang, I'm so tired of all this, says Mrs. Masha, who I have absolutely no clue who it is. Huh? Masha? Are you Masha? Hey! I raised my eyes and saw a girl hanging over me. What exactly are you tired of? Everything! It's not like someone made you do this, or is still making you. Well, it's not that simple. Oh, it is indeed quite that simple. Dang, you're always... Stop chatting, come on, get the work! A voice that brooked no objections came from far away. The bus came empty in an instant. The girl I was arguing with sulked like a child, turned abruptly, clicked her heels, and headed to the exit. Her name was Masha. Okay, are you ready? A woman appeared. Her face simultaneously expressed agony for the fates of the whole humanity, arrogance, concentration, and fatigue. Yeah, sure. Excellent. Then, action! I didn't even realize when she left the bus and the camera appeared, pointing at me. I shut my eyes. That's right. I must be sleeping according to the script. How long must I sit like that? 10 seconds? 20? That should be enough. I slowly opened my eyes and stared to swoop the bus with an ignorant look. That's it. I haven't got the slightest idea why I'm here. What is this? An Icarus? But why? So I have to put on the most surprised face that I've ever done. I should imagine that I'm sitting in a toilet reading a book, and then the door suddenly swings open and I see Jean Reno with a gun. Who is Jean Reno? I don't know! Pardon me, do you mind that I'm, pardon my French, doing number 2 in here? He would be surely surprised. I just couldn't bear it and laughed out loud. Stop! I yelled at the director, Olga, of course. It's an outrage. We've already been shooting for a week, but we still got less than nothing. She jumped close to me. What's the matter this time? You know, well, she would hardly appreciate my story about Jean Reno. I'm sorry. It was hard to look into her eyes. It wasn't like I was really worried about messing up yet another take, but mainly because I was afraid to break into laughter again. Okay, lunch break. Our director took off her Panama hat and began to fan herself with it. It's so hot. Well, it's summer after all. Sure came out of thin air, proving himself to be quite observant. Duh, blockhead. You better take care of the camera. Like, now. Sure calmly dodged the Panama, and was thrown at him, and went back to his camera. He's always like that. Calm, wise, and boring, dull, and quite predictable. I got out of the bus and headed to the canteen to grab a bite. Well, hey Miku, how are you? Oh, not Miku, but Masha. Hey, Masha. Oh, nothing. No surprise. Want to have something to eat, Mrs. Masha? She stared at me for some time with an uncomprehending look. Okay, let's go. I cannot get my head wrapped around the fact that you are indeed Masha now. I'm not gonna call you Miku because Masha probably has some sort of good reason behind it. It's strange. It's strange? It's strange. Seems that Masha has always visited the canteen and stuff. What is it? Didn't she have time to have her lunch? I examined her thoroughly from behind. Her double ponytails were really long and dangled from side to side, now and then hitting whatever they encountered along the way. Are you sure that you're comfortable with your hair like that? I asked Masha when we sat down at the table. What's the problem? That face though, why do you look like you're like some sort of stalker? I don't know. Probably because you are. Well, they're kinda, you know, way too long, no? It's a part of my character, you dork. As if they were shorter before that. She threw an angry glance at me and proceeded to violently stir the contents of her packet of instant noodles. Ramen noodles. One day I'm going to get gastritis thanks to this diet. Whatever gastritis is, I've already got it. Oh sure, I bet you've already got drunk all the stage prompts together and all these guys. And what's wrong with that? I'm not paid for this work, just so you know, and it's hard, the leading role after all. I don't drink the cameras and filming tape. Oh, it's like you're going for an Oscar. Nah, I'm gonna be the Leonardo DiCaprio of this game. Who knows? Who knows? I reclined on the chair and lit up a oh dear, I'm that kind of person, am I? Just laid over and was like, let's light up a cig. Just for the information, it's a children's camp here, in case you've forgotten. Yeah, you have any kids around? Masha just sniffed and didn't reply. Oh, and by the way, all the great ones had to start with something. Some of them, for instance, started with a graduation project. Not a single sane human would ever think of shooting such wild garbage. She gazed warily around with an intimidated look, making sure that nobody except us was at the canteen, and then continued. Only our old Dmitrievna one. It's not like someone made you do it. Oh yeah? Masha said slowly with bitterness in her voice. Like I had any choice, or you did, or anyone else. Well, for starters, you could have proposed another subject. To propose a subject? What subject? All this time, Masha had been sprinkling salt over a noodle cup, and it seemed like she wasn't going to stop. I see you like it spicy, do you? All salty and spicy? What? I directed my gaze at her cup. Dang! Oh, my ramen noodles are tainted! She slammed the salt shaker down on the table, and sadly dropped her eyes to the small hill of salt that, like an iceberg fighting the global warming, just refused to dissolve in the broth. You know, this game is like, this hidden innuendos in it. It's like the iceberg fighting global warming. You can already tell that they think global warming is a bad thing just because of that. Oh man, this deep meaning. Oh come on! I suddenly felt sorry for Masha. Anyway, I could hardly digest this crap. Sandwiches are way better. Here. I pushed my bowl in her direction. Because I'm a good man who smokes cigarettes at, you know, small kids' places. She took it silently and began to eat. You won't even thank me? It's completely your fault. What exactly? You distracted me and I... Anyway, it's your fault, you know, baka. Oh, whatever. Masha kept eating in silence. I finished smoking and stubbed the cigarette on a corner of the table. What exactly don't you like about it? Well, it's actually fine if you get used to it. Lovely noodles. I looked at Masha in a way that made clear exactly how silly and irrelevant her answer was. You're talking about the movie. About the movie. Take my character, for example. Although, never mind using it as an example. It's the worst part of the script. Were you even reading this as you wrote it? For 2 days, the laziness took over. Well, I read it. So what? Does it seem normal to you? What exactly? Character. My character. What's the problem with it? I decided to play the fool to the end. Stop mocking me. If looks could kill, my death would have been a pretty painful one. Oh look, she has like a new face. I've never seen that face before. She looks like she's blushing but trying to like insert her dominance at me. Alright. Calm down, grr. We have no time for anger. She fixed her gaze on me. What's the matter with your character? Just a normal retarded girl, of course. There's so many around anyway, no? Oh dear, I'm a sexist person as well, Maya. Oh no. Oh dear. I'm just like a complete jerk. She turned red at first, then blue, and then she turned green. How would you do that? How would you turn green? Oh dear. I'm not sure the changing of colors of her face during a fraction of a second was really like that. But either way, Masha looked scary. You know, that's disgusting, she said, suddenly getting a grip. I think it's perfectly normal. The cast of a movie or book, for that matter, can't consist of only cute, smart, and sexy characters. We still need supporting roles. No, I disagree. There is a lot of ecchi stuff out there. All of them have to be that way. Every single one. Supporting, but not retarded. It's not like we don't encounter them in real life, you know. But I'm not like that. But you're not playing yourself after all. Her stubbornness is starting to get on my nerves. People will watch it and say, Masha is a retard. I covered my face with hands and put my hand down onto the table. Okay, what do you suggest now? I don't know. Everything is bad. The world is a terrible place. Will it get better if you keep crying and moaning? I'm not moaning! Oh, well, like I can hear it. Well, I'd prefer if I couldn't. You know what? You know what? I opened one eye and looked up at the enraged Masha. What? You're just an insensitive... that! You jerk! Ugh! As you say, mademoiselle. And... she didn't manage to finish the phrase. The door just burst open and a cheerful shout reached us. Masha-nyan! Simon-kun! Oh, here comes another raving lunatic. Oh lord, what have I done wrong? Oh, what? You speak... Chan! Slavia-chan! I turned my head and glanced skeptically at the girl who ran to the canteen. Sasha! One of the main characters. If we compare Sasha in real life with another character she's going to play, then Masha's words about the injustice of this world don't seem that meaningless. However, on the bright side, one can't ignore Sasha's acting talent. She's become a totally different person on the screen. I've told you like 1,000 times, don't ever call me Masha-nyan. Masha gritted her teeth. Okay, then it'll be Masha-yan. Masha-yan. Can I? Slavia, you're acting weird. I don't know how I feel about this yet, but cool! Sasha snatched the chair, moved it closer, and sat behind me. A freaking cuckoo. How do people like that enter college in the first place? Nah, what are you talking about? Sasha seemed to ignore Nasha's opinion of her professional impropriety. Oh, we were just discussing what exactly Masha Nyan doesn't like about our script. Just you wait till I beat the Nyan out of you. Ow! She tried to land a punch in my forehead, but I dodged, because I'm agile, and her fist slammed down on the table. Sasha gave a brief cry and started shivering. Oh dear, that's a new face. That's a new face, a scared face. See how discontented she is, a curious young mind which doesn't seek any compromises. Ready for long, painstaking work, for safe self-sacrifice and denial of a fragile material world. And all for what? For the truth. Wow, you're so smart. Sasha seems like the dim-witted one, and, you know, Masha seems like the like, tsundere right here. Too bad you're not... No, you're hopeless. I'll take that as a compliment, thank you. Masha fetched her phone out of her pocket and checked the time. Okay, time to go. Where are you going? You only appear starting day 2. It's you should get going, dork. Me too, me too. Sasha jumped around, still clinging to my arm. I guess so. I got up, pushed the chair back on the table, and looked over at Masha. See ya. Oh, get going. She snorted and turned away. You know, I just had a thought. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm going to continue talking until I scroll down a bit on this page and then see something. Yes. I believe I meet Miku the first day on day 2. So I'm going to put something up here for a second. I'm going to put my theory out. I'm thinking maybe this play they're doing is the actual game, and like the stuff I'm thinking of, but you probably don't understand. And then this right here is the reality of it all, and we're just playing what the actual game is. And then this is weird, and I don't understand. I'm just gonna continue. She snorted and turned away. Itakimasu! Get lost too. Just as that reached my ear, Sasha shot past me with empty noodle packets trailing in her wake.